What the frick is up with my lunch today? There isn't even any sandwiches or chips in it. How am I supposed to trade food with my friends now? Are you an idiot trying to cut back on the amount of food you give your daughter? Do you think I am getting far or something?
I'm sorry to hear that. But yesterday you didn't give me your lunchbox after you got home from school.
What?
If you want me to make you lunch for school every day, make sure to put your lunchbox next to the kitchen sink so that I can clean it out. If you can't follow that simple step, then I won't bother making your lunch. I believe I have already told you this once before though, right?
Shut up. So, what am I supposed to do for lunch today then? Do you expect me to make it through the rest of the day on an empty stomach?
Take another look inside your lunchbox, please. I threw $10 in there so that you can go out and buy something from one of the stores nearby. Or if you feel like it, you can buy a school lunch from the cafeteria.
If you have time to be throwing money in here, why not just make me my dang lunch? You old hag. I can't believe you would mess around with your cute daughter this much.
Did you just call me an old hag?
Ugh. Now I'm going to feel absolutely awful for the rest of the day because of you. And today is the last day of school before summer vacation, and now I am leaving feeling terrible. This better not be a sign of what's to come this summer.
This summer you won't be going to school, so I won't need to make your lunch every day anymore. You are a high schooler now, so you should be able to make your own lunch while I am busy. And the reason for me being so strict now is because it's my job to make sure that you grow into a decent adult.
Don't you dare try and preach to me, you know, good housewife. Your only job as an adult is to take care of me and Dad, so you barely know what it's like to be a true adult. But I shouldn't be surprised that making my lunch is now becoming too difficult for you.
Of course, me being a stay-at-home mom makes my main job that of taking care of this house, but it's also my job as a mom to raise my daughter and make sure she turns out right.
Huh. What are you babbling on about?
Nancy, you are a high schooler now. Yet you still can't make your own lunch, and you still can't study for your classes without me reminding you. Could you try and start acting your age for me? If not, I am going to only get more worried about you.
You want me to start acting my age? A housewife is another way of saying that you are unemployed, right? If it wasn't for Dad, you'd be screwed trying to live life on your own. So having that same no of good housewife telling me how to live my life is just crazy.
Nancy, you'd better calm down. I think you are overthinking what I am asking of you right now. And you are starting to hurt your own mom's feelings by using words like old hag and unemployed. Do you think that I'll just sit around and keep taking that talk from you?
Shut up, you useless hag. I'm going to let Dad know about how badly you messed up by not making me a simple lunch, just so you know. And I bet that he is going to give it to you later.
Nancy.
Hopefully him getting on you will make sure you learn your place. You're only meant to serve the two of us and make sure that this house is taken care of.
3 hours later.
Laura, I heard about what happened between you and Nancy. How you chose not to make her a lunch to bring to school.
That's because she forgot to give me her lunch box yesterday for me to clean. And I had already told her once before that she needs to leave it by the sink after school so that I can clean it out. So because she didn't do that, I took the chance to teach her a small lesson to remind her.
You are one hell of a stick in the mud, huh? Going that far to try and teach her a lesson is such a crappy move, especially on her last day before summer vacation. I doubt she had any intentions of making your life any harder by not putting her lunchbox in the kitchen, so next time don't worry so much about it and just make her dang lunch. It should make a mom very happy to make lunch for her kids every day before school. Or at least, that's what I thought.
I get that, but In Nancy's case, she can barely take care of herself as it is. I feel that I still have to put as much effort into caring for her as I did back when she was in elementary school. So for her sake, I had to teach her a lesson.
Stop caring so much about that pathetic crap. If she had to, she could take care of herself better than you could imagine. So I'd stop thinking of her in such a poor manner, and watch as she turns into our special little woman.
Even though she is in high school now and still can't do a single thing on her own? She can't even wake herself up in the morning. I have to come into her room every day to wake her up before school. And she still doesn't know how to keep track of time and what needs to get done. I still need to remind her of everything. How do you think she will make life work after she goes on to college? As far as I'm concerned, she'll be stuck asking us to care for her until we pass away.
So what that she can't do everything all on her own now? When I was in high school, I was also relying on my mom to care for me. But look at me now. I turned into an amazing adult.
This conversation isn't about you. And also, this isn't supposed to be about how amazing she is when she becomes an adult. This is about how as a high schooler, she is still asking for us to do everything for her. It's embarrassing for me, and it should be for her as well.
Ugh, geez. This talk is starting to get old. Learn your place and stop thinking about what Nancy and I do. All I want from you is to make our meals and do our chores. Other than that, don't bother saying a single word.
What the? Brian. I don't understand why you are defending Nancy this much.
That doesn't matter. All you need to do is to be a good housewife. In other words, I am your master, and you are my maid. If you think of our relationship like that, then maybe doing your job will be a lot easier.
Seriously.
You're my maid, so do what a maid would do and take care of my daughter and I. Don't say any more complaints, and don't speak to us unless it has to do with your job.
Who do you think you are talking to your wife like that? And before I think of myself as your housewife, I will always think of myself as her mother. And as her mother, to make sure that she grows up just right, I need to speak my mind and talk to her about her mistakes.
Maybe when she was a child she needed you to be her mother, but now that she is in high school, you need to step back and take care of me and this house. All she thinks of when looking at you is how annoying you really are when you open that mouth of yours. Focus on being my housewife, and nothing else. And don't let me catch you doing anything out of line.
What the heck?
If you understand me, then stop messaging me and get back to finishing the chores. And, since that is all you should know how to do.
1 week later.
All right. We will see you later, Mom. Make sure to take great care of the house while Dad and I are gone.
Huh? Where are you guys going? You had saying all yesterday that you wanted to try some of the baked goods from the bread store just a few towns over, right? So I left this morning at 5 just to get those bagels for you before you woke up. I'll be home in a few more minutes if you can just wait for me.
That was just a lie that I made up to get you out of the house before we left. I don't need any of that bread, so go ahead and eat it all yourself.
What the heck? Why did you think it was a good idea to lie to me?
Because today Dad and I will be heading on vacation together. But if you were in the house while we left, you'd probably say that you want to come along as well.
What? You guys are going on vacation without me then? I never even heard a thing about any of this from the two of you.
Of course you didn't. We never wanted you to come with us in the first place. So Dad and I secretly went ahead and made plans for just the two of us.
How could you say things like that to your own mom? You don't want me coming along at all? If it's a family vacation, then shouldn't I be with you guys?
But you aren't even really like family to us. As Dad had told me, you are just our housemaid now.
You're kidding me.
And for this vacation, Dad took off a whole week to be with me. He said he wanted to give me the best summer vacation trip yet. So he booked a week for us to stay in London.
England. That's insane. Just the two of you are going overseas and are leaving me here.
Just like I told you. He said that this is my reward for doing so well during school this year. I bet that out of all of my classmates, I have the best dad of them all. I love him so much.
I see. In other words, this trip was made so that you would only start to focus on loving your dad, and over time you would start to forget about me ever being your mom. And I'm sure when you guys get back, I will be made the laughingstock of all of your friends and his friends.
I think you mistook what we meant by this trip. He didn't make these plans just for me to start hating you. It is just a simple family vacation, and with that should only involve the family, like the name says. So you should understand that the family does not normally include their maid in coming along with them. Actually, Dad told me to start referring to you as our maid whenever you started to act up. He also told me that you need to stay at home to clean the house up to make it look brand new while we are gone. Anywho, the two of us are going to enjoy the best vacation ever.
Then enjoy your final vacation together, please.
Huh?
I have decided what I am going to do now. Since I am going to be treated like a maid instead of like a mom, I'd be better off just leaving this household. So now that I will be gone and out of your lives, I think your father will find it difficult making time to go on any more vacations with you.
Really? You think leaving us will stop us from going on any more trips together? Also, what the hell do you think you are saying right now? Do you think that a maid can make a living if they leave the comfort of their master?
I guess I'll find out, right? But as far as you should be concerned, I am no longer going to take living with you too. And I don't want to take care of you guys anymore.
Oh. Well, if that's what you think, then go ahead and get out of here, you freak maid. I can already see Dad's reaction to hearing about this when I tell him. I bet he'll say that he can just go out and find another old hag to be our maid. We probably will completely forget about you by the time you realize that you can't make it living outside of the house.
How does he think he will be able to get you guys a new maid? He doesn't even have the money to do that.
What? Dad has all of the money in the world. He'll be able to care for both me and the new maid that he finds.
I'm sure he'd be okay if he hadn't gone on vacation with you this week. But I think he forgot about the company-wide meeting he was supposed to have before he left the office for a week. I think his boss isn't going to take kindly to that sort of behavior. Don't be surprised when your father becomes jobless in the coming week. And then, I don't think there will be any leeway for him to get that new maid of his.
Hey? What are you saying? That's no reason for Dad to get fired from his job.
However, I just got a call at the house from his company saying that today he has a very important presentation to get. They are asking where he is at right now. It's just like Brian to do something as stupid as this. This would be his second time blowing off an important company meeting. If I am not around to let him know his upcoming schedule, things like this are bound to happen.
This is his second time now.
Well, his second time forgetting about his important meetings. But your dad normally forgets about all sorts of things relating to his work. And not just work though, sometimes even things like paying bills and stuff. That's why I found myself having to keep track of his life by making a calendar just for him, as well as reminding him of any upcoming things. So when he starts calling me things like a maid, I sort of feel stabbed in the back.
Really?
Yeah. That's why when we finally got married, I had to quit my job and stay at home to support him 24/7. Before we lived together, he was always creating problems for himself. Luckily for him, my support made it so that he was finally able to move up in the company. And just so we're clear, I'm not making any of this up.
Huh.
But now that I know about his latest stunt, all I can say is good luck to the two of you. And just a side note, I let his company know that he left to England with his daughter, and that is why he isn't at work.
Wait. Dad said that he's turning around right now to head straight to his office. So please call them back and let them know that he didn't just forget about the meeting.
Oh no. Lucky for him, I don't have their number anywhere to call them back.
You're lying.
But if it helps clear things up for you two to get to the airport before your flight, the person on the other side of the phone laughed and said that this was it for your father, before hanging up. Hopefully your father doesn't try to go into the office to make things right.
Oh, no. That's it then. There's no way he will be able to work for that company anymore. It's all just like you told me. This is going to be our last vacation that we can take, ever. Why did he think it was okay to skip work to take me on this trip?
Now hold on there, Nancy. Don't go around blaming him for everything, as he's not the only one.
Huh? He's not?
He has to face being fired, and you have to face being kicked out of your high school. I'm sure people at your school have already taken notice.
What?
What were you supposed to attend a week after school got out?
Well, I don't remember.
You were supposed to retake an exam that you had missed. Actually, you needed to retake 4 different exams since you ended up bombing all 4 of them. But it seems that wasn't a big deal for you as you decided to skip them to go to London.
Hawk. I completely forgot. Ha.
I was thinking that I'd need to remind you of it, because that's something I had a feeling you were going to forget about. And of course my instincts were right.
Shut up, Mom. You should have said something before I had left the house. Actually, you needed to tell me a few days ago so that I could study more for the tests.
By the way, I just received a call from your school now as well. Your principal told me that if you aren't planning to attend the exams, then they will be marked as permanently failed and you will need to retake a year.
He's lying, right?
I doubt that. You will probably need to go to a different school and be enrolled in lower classes there if you want to try and save yourself. But I'm sure you will just choose to drop out and rely on what little money your dad will have, right?
Oh God. What should I do? I thought that you would have tried to save me from this since you were my mom. Why didn't you ask him to move the exams to next week for me? I would have been able to make it by then. But now, I won't be able to attend the retake, and will be forced to take another year of high school. Maybe you should have said that this was all your fault since you never reminded us about this stuff in the first place.
Huh? But why would I do that for you? It's not like I was the one that forgot.
But this is all your fault. If you'd have left for England, we could have moved all of our plans to a later time.
Even then, you two would have still not let me come along because after all, I'm your housemaid. Anyways, I have all of my things together now and am ready to leave this house. As for the two of you, good luck trying to find a way out of this hole you dug yourselves.
The next day.
What the hell have you done? Because of your blabbering mouth, I have lost everything. We canceled the trip to London, but still had to pay for the plane tickets and our hotel. So all of that money? Bam. Gone.
But that means you were able to make it back for that presentation of yours, so everything should be fine, right? You made it back into work, right?
Yeah, I freaked out and went back to the office. But my boss closed the door to the meeting and wouldn't let me in. He said I could forget showing up because he had no need for an employee who runs off to London instead of completing the company's presentation. All of the bonus that was supposed to go to me went to other coworkers. He also gave them all raises since there won't be a need to pay me anymore. So yeah, I was fired because you couldn't do your job.
Ah, thank goodness you were actually fired.
I kept trying to apologize to my boss, but he wouldn't listen. He said that if this presentation would have gone downhill, the company would have lost millions, so he had to take me out of the equation.
Oh my. And to think you were doing so well at the company all by yourself.
This is all on you. You didn't tell me that I was going to have this meeting. So now you are to blame for me losing my job.
I think the person that couldn't handle their own schedule should be blamed, right? Also, if I can recall this correctly, I didn't have anything on the schedule telling me that you were supposed to go on vacation this week. I think this is the reward you asked for by hiding that trip to London from me.
Screw off. It's your job as my wife to tell me everything that is going on so that I can do my job right.
But I'm not your wife anymore, right? I filled out all of our divorce paperwork, and I just need you to sign it for me. So could you please do that here soon?
Wait, what divorce papers?
The one that I left on the counter.
You really filled all of this out? That must mean you weren't joking when you said you were leaving us.
Leaving you was the only choice I had. So I hope you are able to find a new job and a new maid in the near future. I'm going to stop talking with you now, so bye.
2 hours later.
What should I do, Mom? My principal told me that he thinks it's a good idea for me to drop out of school. He says that if I don't have the willpower to study anymore, then I should start trying to find a job that will allow my level of education. When I cried for him to let me stay, he said that having me retake another year will only make it more frustrating for the teachers.
Well, I knew this was what would happen eventually.
Why would you say that, Mom? And I can't go to another school, because all of my friends are at this one. And if they find out about me having to retake a year, they will all laugh at me.
Then, maybe you can try your best to persuade the principal into letting you retake those exams? Make it look like it is life or death for you. And tell him that you will study as hard as you did at the beginning of the year.
I already tried to get him to let me continue. But Dad said, if I can't find another well-paying job here soon, I'm going to need you to start looking for a job yourself to help me pay the bills. How am I supposed to study now that Dad wants me to work a job?
My oh my.
Mom, what is going to happen to the two of us? Dad won't have a job to go to for a little while, and I am going to have to try and find a job. I won't even have a high school diploma, so there won't be many options for me. Ever since you left us, life has gone to hell. Our house has even turned into a dump, so please hurry up and come home to us.
I definitely won't be. I have fully given up on taking care of either of you. And the house has already gotten that messy? If that's so, then how about you learn to use a vacuum and get to cleaning it up?
But we have no idea. You were the one that always took care of things like that.
But I'm not your mother anymore, so. Your dad and I plan to get a divorce. I don't plan to ever be back at that house with you guys, and as for you, I don't ever want to see your face again.
Mom.
So, have a good time, Nancy. I think you should start thinking about learning how to care for yourself now, as your father won't be of much help. Because if you don't, you'll end up becoming exactly like your father, and we both don't want that. After that whole mess, I was able to get a divorce from that pig, Brian. I heard that he was, however, able to find another job within that company after he managed to lick his boss's boots for a little while. Unfortunately, that job would be in a completely different building outside of town where he would be working as a janitor. He was also unable to keep the house with his paycheck taking a huge hit, so him and Nancy were forced to move into an old rundown apartment complex on the other side of town. Since Brian was able to stay in the company, Nancy was able to go back to high school, although it was at a different location. The downside to that school was that she still needed to retake a year as she didn't have the credits from her previous year. Other students learned about this and started calling her dumb and an idiot, to the point where she started considering dropping out.